Welcome to episode 1 of Skate to the Truth. Our names are Omarian.
Roy.
Ion.
Swara.
And Graces. In today's episode, we will be analyzing chapters 1 to 7 of Richard Wagamuse's Indian Horse. In this episode, we talk about Saul's mother's grief after her children are taken, his brother's death from tuberculosis brought by settlers, and the fear families live with as they hide their children. We connect these scenes to real residential school experiences, discuss how Indigenous people were dehumanized, and look at early symbols like God's Lake and the growing chasm between Saul's family. We wrap up by sharing some predictions about what direction the book could go in and what that means for Saul. Okay, so starting off, I want everyone to talk about maybe one thing that stood out to them in the reading. You can start first.
I think the discussion director should start first.
For me, it was when the mother, I think her grief really struck out to me because when both of her children get taken and then there's only one left, she's just so struck with grief that she refuses to move for days, and I think that's just really representative how traumatic of an experience that is.
To me, it was the brother. How it's like the tuberculosis waited until he was done his coming of age ceremony thing, and that's when he died. He was holding in until then.
I agree with Omar, but more on the tuberculosis, the fact that he's getting that sickness that wasn't in North America before that. It was from settlers, right? And I just didn't expect that we're gonna be seeing the aspect of sickness from this, and it kind of shocked me to hear about that.
Yeah.
For me, it was when they had to hide their children just so they won't be taken away. I feel like nobody should have to do that. Why would you need to hide your own children so they don't get taken away, right? So that was stuck out most to me.
It's like a Socratic seminar, right?
Yeah,
So
anybody
we can
can
just
come in.
talk, and then we just go question after.
Yeah.
Then you were saying that?
Oh, I was saying, how do you think something like that would affect their lives moving forward?
Well, yeah, they got taken away, so the children were forced to go to residential schools. As you said, the mom was really upset, and her mental health got affected by it, and the children were taken away. The brother who saw his siblings get taken away was also affected by it because now his mother is not very responsive to him, and she misses her other two children, so he feels left out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also think how the parents were coping with alcohol, that also affects their life in a major way, and the community in general.
So I think it's interesting how if you guys remember, the sister was also taken away, but it doesn't really seem like they dwell on her too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. That's more of a smaller aspect of maybe it either could be on the fact that more sexist wise, or it could be more on the fact that it just was so long ago that or not long ago, just the first to happen where it was expected, but when the brother left, it was 2 parts of her kids have been taken away.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. Did her sister leave during the story? She was taken before the story started or after?
She was taken before it started.
Because her the brother got held at gunpoint to get on the thing, which is crazy to think. Yeah. What's the next question?
Did the reading make you think of anything, anything you've read previously, any connections?
Probably to the podcast of where the survivors were talking about how they got taken away, their experience of being in the residential schools and how it affected their families. That's what I connected to, because it's kind of a similar situation where they're getting ripped away from their families.
I think for me, it made me think about First Contact and how, if you remember that one lady, Ashley, she was very critical of Indigenous people because of the alcoholism issue.
Yeah.
But I think reading this, it really does make you think about where that stems from, and you shouldn't judge people over that. It does stem from very harmful things.
I was thinking of the fact what Miss Ali said with like the sled dogs and how the government would round the sled dogs up and kill them, and I just thought about how the government legitimately just grabbed a child at gunpoint and forced him into a school, and it's that correlation between how legitimately they see people and animals as the same thing, and instead of like full on slaughtering the kids, they just put them in these schools, in turn killing them over time from different like measures, like from the sicknesses or from the schools and how they treat them, and it just shows how the government is being portrayed in the exact same way that other stories have.
Like historically, they're kind of compared to like cattle or livestock, and you see that in the book when they're giving the jobs, like they get rid of the trees that are in the way of the good trees, so that then the white people can come and chop down the good trees, and then they barely get paid anything. So they're kind of like just compared to farm animals.
With like they did have like plowing jobs too, and like
Yeah.
It's
I think-
like
Yeah, no.
no, you
I think it's interesting how they continuously want to portray indigenous people as like these bad people. When they were curious about when Saul was talking about the arrival of horses, and how when the indigenous people were curious about the horses, instead of like teaching them about them or giving them a few horses, they called them horse thieves, and they just wanted to portray them as these like bad people.
Yeah.
with that like colonization like in the Middle East with like slavery and all that, people would it's kind of the same aspect where they're categorizing these people in a different way, in a sense where they dehumanize them, making them seem like cattle just so they could get away with calling them horse thieves and making them pay minimum wage jobs, because as you can see with like first contact, a lot of people just think they're quote unquote like they don't use their money, they just take the money from the government, and they don't see them as like human wise, like they're fine with what's happening to them, and it's just how the government covered it up, like how colonizers back in the 1800s would do the exact same thing but with a different like demographic.
Do you guys have any predictions of what will happen next?
I feel like. Oh wait, no, you guys. I accidentally read chapter 8.
Me
Never
too.
mind.
Okay. God's Lake was pretty cool, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna be found out, 100%. Like, there's no way the story is gonna continue being this like.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Happy,
gonna be
like,
like the major
The
conflict.
kid already died, and then probably he's gonna be taken away as well. Because this sounds like a past tense like story, right? So to make him be in like a center of like telling his story out, he had to have gone through something, and I feel
Yeah.
like his family could die either at God Lake, like the previous generation, or he could be taken in the white. What do they call the like white folk? They call them. It starts with an R.
No, it's from Z.
Xana
Oh,
Ganoush,
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
yeah, Xenagosh. Like the
Yeah.
they might come probably. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Do we know what that exactly means?
I believe it's.
I think it's just like white person
It's
or like
just white
foreigner.
Someone
Yeah.
did read chapter 7.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions, Aura?
No, not really. I didn't really read the whole thing yet,
Mm-hmm.
but
Miss Ellie reading the transcript.
no. But yeah, I have like the similar feeling. Like it's gonna be like a tragic story.
Yeah.
Like at the end.
Yeah, because we already know he's gonna end up in like the rehabilitation center, and he's already very hesitant to talk about his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
From the cover, like you can see kids running away in snow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna get put into a residential school like up north, and then that's like depicting their escape, and probably a lot of tragedies are gonna happen.
Because his brother did escape though. Like that's something. Cause I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not educated on how easy it is to like
Yeah.
escape one, but the fact that his brother could escape like a residential school.
While having tuberculosis too.
Exactly, and it's like maybe the area the residential school in is not the best. Like like you're saying, the snow area. A lot of the settlers don't know how to like navigate like,
Yeah.
the place. So if this is set in more of a snowy like climate, it might be easier for that stuff to happen.
There's just having the inspiration of like, hey, if like my brother can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
It's not an impossible scenario.
And maybe it's gonna be like his brother is gonna guide him on escaping, like spiritually.
Yeah.
There's also There's like a few words that they used. Oh, do you guys have any like words you found interesting in the chapters at all?
I was literally just gonna get to that of what literary elements did you think? I think the inclusion of it in general was pretty cool. Like just including the vocabulary.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
And there were a few like pretty uncommon vocabulary words that he used to describe some situations.
Yeah.
Do you have some of them? I can write those down.
Like we were just talking about the Zana Ganoush.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Zinagosh, like
Yeah.
Zinagosh. They use the word bush.
And then the names. Sorry, what were you saying?
I used like bush to refer to like trees. No, like not no one. It's not common here to say, "Oh, go to the bush." Is that more of an indigenous person's like vocabulary, or is that just like? Because I felt like it could be related to the time period as well.
Yeah, I think it's more so like British colonizer, and then it kind of got like in Australia, for example, like it stuck around. Like they still use bush to describe like forested areas,
Yeah.
but in other places like Canada, it faded out, and America.
I also feel like just because of the type of vegetation too, like they have more like bogs and stuff there.
Yeah.
So I feel like it makes more sense to use that instead of like, oh, like go to the forest, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
I was gonna say with that, like how you're saying like their education and how it's from like England, they do refer to how the kids already know English in a
Yeah.
sense. Like his father knows English and was teaching him based off of the books that they had.
But was it the mother or the grandmother?
It was the other kid as well, right? Someone was burning the
Who's
books.
Naomi?
Oh,
Is that
the
mother?
grandmother.
The
Yeah.
grandmother.
Yeah.
The grandmother
Yeah,
didn't
she
like
didn't
it.
want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying?
I was saying in chapter 1, just like in the very first page, I also thought it was interesting how they talk about their creation story. I think that when we're talking about like cool things that they included from indigenous culture, I feel like that was very important. It kind of gives you like a
Yeah.
insight into their perspective.
Yeah. I put that as one of my passages.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the rift that's forming between like the two brothers and their grandmother, and then the rest of the family?
As in the rift, as in. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
See, I don't know where to separate that from chapter 7 and chapter 8. I think I'm like
No,
combining them, so I don't want to.
in chapter 7, they go on the fact how it's like when the brother was sick, him and the grandmother were like kind of the only two people that stay near him and help him, while the rest of the people like spread apart.
Yeah.
Well, chapter 8 is making me seem like they get like outlined and like thrown away, but
Yeah, it's like they're afraid. It's either they're afraid of catching the tuberculosis or, I don't know.
I think it's the fear
Yeah.
of just something new. Because if we look at back when they found the horse, right? Everyone in like the village, they were scared of
Yeah.
like this new thing that looks like a moose as like a deer, but in total, it's kind of like they're scared of like what the Xenagosh have to like bring, and because they know what they do, like they take their children away from them. So anything that could be related to the Xenagosh could be seen as like taboo or like not welcome. So maybe the reason why the brother is more separated from everyone else is just because he's quote unquote not welcome due to him being in contact with the Xenagosh for a long time, making him like possibly like corrupted.
Well, the mom and the dad also went to residential schools as well.
I feel like that's a very interesting take because for me, I was thinking it's because the brother, right? He's coming back and he's now, like Saul describes him as now he has like the grown man like demeanor and like he's been through something. So I think that in a way changed the family dynamic and it's just them trying to get used to like this new like way of being. Like, you know, this isn't the same little kid that left. Like
Yeah.
he's been through something.
Also, I think they might be a bit like scared of the culture from just like the indoctrination in residential schools. Like they're scared that what they're doing is like taboo and they're gonna get sent to hell or something. Because the two brothers and the grandma are really like getting into it and into the traditional ways, and then the rest of the family is kind of staying away, and they all went to residential schools. So
Yeah.
When you say I did not know that, or I might have missed it when I was reading. But if they did go, because they did go to residential schools, maybe they're fearing that they know what the sickness is. Because the brother, he'll learn about it, like the main character, he'll learn about it later, right? But the parents know what this sickness is, and that's why they're staying away, in the sense
Yeah.
that they've seen it happen at the schools already.
yeah, that was what I was saying. Like they're afraid of catching the tuberculosis from him, but the grandma stays with him because she's already old. Like she isn't really afraid of death, and then the Saul just doesn't know what it is, and he doesn't know that is very dangerous.
Does anyone have any questions or anything they're like curious about in the story? Because I feel like a lot of the stuff, like I was just kind of going through it and I maybe missed some stuff, so I was wondering if there's anything else anyone's curious about.
I think it was chapter 5, or I think 5 or 6, where he had like a vision of God's lake, and I think
Yeah.
it's 6, right? Maybe
5 or
but
6,
five,
Yeah.
whatever.
So he had like a vision of God's lake, seeing his family or his like ancestry like dying there, and that's why God's lake is like quote unquote their lake. And I just found that interesting that that's why he's here. I just found that interesting. Yeah.
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 Also, another prediction. I feel like after the story is complete, like the conflict, he's probably gonna return to God's Lake
Yeah, I
sometime.
was gonna say that.
Either like after he leaves the residential school or after he's done with his rehab thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's why the whole God's like vision is like very symbolic.
Yeah.
Like everything's gonna come back to that.
Yeah, it's in the start, like prologue.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't really have any questions or anything because I didn't really finish the reading, but I wanted to know if you guys have any passages or anything that really stood out to you guys within the chapters.
Like, do you want like a specific part?
Yeah, like any specific parts that stood out to you, so I can like keep notes of it.
I think for me it was just like the whole mother's grief part. Do you want like the
Mother's-
specific page? I can give you that maybe.
No, like it's fine. I can find the page,
Yeah.
but like anything that like specifically stood out to you.
Yeah, just write like Saul's mother's grief.
Yeah. And you guys?
Probably the landslide. I think you'll find it in like chapter 5 or 6. Like it'll be like a landslide, like the mountain like caves in and kills the family. So I found that
Yeah.
as a symbolic way of just like showing how like nature takes back, like how the brother died, or they were saying how nature, it feels like the earth's already taking him away.
Yeah. For me, it was probably when they were on the boat, like on the canoe, entering into God's Lake, and just his description of the area, like what he sees.
He was saying like how like the rocks felt alive.
Yeah.
Do you know what chapter that was?
That was like chapter 4 or 3.